to awaken his channeling. And the person that she got had never channeled before in his life. And he looked deep into her heart. And he said, your guides want to tell you how much they love you. And she wept. The individual wept. And her heart was opened. She will never be the same. Because someone had seen her and said yes to her. And was not put off by her abrasive energy, was not put off by all of her touting of who she was and what she believed in and that she was right. And she came to the vessel in the joy afterwards and said, I don't know what's happened to me. I don't know anything anymore. But you saw me. And so did he, her practice partner. And her heart was opened. Now, where would she have been had her practice partner heard that statement, which is a very serious statement for a brand new channel to say to someone that he'd never met before in his life, if he would have said no to that? She would probably still be arguing with us. She was not. She is a new person, just as you are. Every moment, every day, you are a new person. To get to say yes to what happens. To get to say hello to you. To get to say, oh, all these fingers, whether you even have an arm or not, that is not the important part. All this energy is working together for one thing. Love. Love. Take a deep breath. And again, take a deep breath. So what are you saying yes to? Everything. Everything is possible. Why not? What are you saying no to? The biggest yes we are asking you to say yes to is you. And you. And you. For yes, it is just a simple little word. It starts with yowza. Enthusiasm, and satisfaction. Yes. So remember who you are and be that, all with that energy. We may have more stories to tell at a different point, because with stories you remember, whether they're old or new. So trust yourself. Trust your light. Trust your love. Trust your presence. And even when the meditation is coming through, and Dr. Amber, who's a wondrous, wondrous guide of meditation, is leading you in, and you open your eyes to say, what is happening there? We know what to do. We are saying yes to you. We love you deeply. And I bid you namaste. Namaste.
Greetings, dear ones. I'm Cryon of Magnetic Service. For those who are just listening, we find ourselves in the shadow of the mountain. For some, this is just a phrase. For some, it's literal. We are that close to that which you call Mount Shasta. No one has ever asked what its real name was, but it was not its original name. We're going to just keep that for a while. Ariella Louise Jones is here. And she always is. And we would like to greet her, her soul, her essence, her beauty, and the messages that she gave all of you about the city and the mountain. I want to talk about the mountain, the city, the physical, the esoteric, and say, isn't it interesting that you have the greeting of one who is past, who I say is still here. Isn't it interesting to know that there are some of you who do not reincarnate physically? There are some who would reincarnate esoterically to stay in a place and hold an energy. And that would be her. And so as long as any of you will come to this place, I want you to greet her. For her stamp is everywhere. Of the work that she did, of the things that she spoke of, even in an older energy where things were metaphorically revealed. A tough time for some channeling. She did it. You might say she is the forerunner of all that is here known today, and that which you are working on, even as you sit here, to understand more of what is on the mountain and in the mountain and what it means. The land here is different. This is one of these areas, dear ones, remarkable for its protection. We gave you a story not long ago of the small island of Kauai and how through the ages it was protected. Protected even from inappropriate things that might have happened there from your military. Because it was a very sacred place. That used to be Lemuria, and especially that particular island, which carries something we don't often talk about. It has in common something here. It's tough for those who might just be listening to grasp an idea. The idea is this, that there is life that exists. And life will exist apart from any definition you would have. Any definition. It's a tough call because there are so many who define life as that which is human and animal and real to your touch. And in the paradigm that you live, you define life right down to the plants, right down to the insects. And this is what you see, right down to the pieces and the parts even of a virus. You say this is alive, this is not alive, and you have all of these definitions. What if I told you this is your paradigm's definition? Could it be possible, do you think, that an evolved life, especially one that perhaps had 2 or 3 million years on you, would have a different kind of paradigm? What if there's something that we haven't really talked about much? The evolution of the soul. But let's get back to the chess issue. Many years ago, when my partner brought me here, I gave a channeling, some of you can find, and it spoke of the protection of Shasta, much like the protection of Kauai, and for the same reasons. In some of the valleys in Kauai, there's something called the Manahune. Dear ones, let me rename them. They're Pleiadian. And those who are the natives there and speak of their magic that they have, say, well, they're invisible beings, and they have magic. And those who have been around for a long time in the esoterics of that island say, pitch black night. You can see lights in some of those valleys. They are so sacred that the government has said, hands off, don't go there. under the guise that they are indigenous owned and that they are sacred. And even if the government does not know why they do that intuitively because they are sacred. Because I'll tell you, in those valleys, it's the same thing as on this mountain. On this mountain, in this mountain, there's the essence of the remembrance of up to 200,000 years ago of the teaching, even of the wheel. For the teachers were here. This is a node. And so was it in Hawaii. And there are others around that we've spoken of that would have some of these same attributes. My partner spoke and has spoken of the Red Center of Australia. It has the same exact attribute. My partner was in a helicopter, and he was told by the pilot there were places they could not fly over because they were too sacred. And then he was told that that would change if we had a one pilot. And that she could fly over those. And that the gender was important because of the teaching of the shamanship of the woman. And that she was allowed because there was a sacredness that she would understand and the intuition that she would grasp that perhaps others would not. I tell you that this remains even today in some of the indigenous around this planet, but here it does too. The mountain is feminine, no matter what they say. Is anyone there? Is there any proof anyone is there? It's tough when you have one paradigm which is so low consciousness to prove another which is high. We've given you an axiom before that says you cannot look up in consciousness, but you can always look down. You can always see where you've been, but it's tough to see where you're going. Especially when it's an evolutionary consciousness that we speak of. And so I'm careful not to get too strange too quickly. But I'll get there. What if there was a plan of your soul? What if your soul actually is the entire reason for everything? What you know in this paradigm, as human beings who are just starting to evolve into knowledge, to recognize light, to start to see the things which are metaphysical. You start to see things outside of what you expect. Last week we told you of some of the masters on this planet that are still here, not just the past ones who could create things from nothing. You saw this so vividly in some of the biblical masters who were talked about. And yet it exists today. There are those who can create things out of nothing. And it's done with a master consciousness that has total control over the physics around them. And the interesting thing about this is that if you brought those here and you put them, for instance, on your media, and you had the videos of them doing what they do, right in front of the camera, there would be the vast majority who would say, that isn't really happening, you see. It can't happen, therefore it isn't happening. It's faked. And they would go upon their lives like they always have, in total disbelief, because the paradigm they have is that you cannot look up to a higher consciousness. You cannot even stretch the imagination to consider it some. The ones who sit in front of me are students of metaphysics, beyond the physics that you know. What if this was all about your soul? Let's say there are a certain number of souls in this galaxy. Let's say that all that is done is about their evolution. Now let's take a look at your paradigm and what you believe as men about the soul. Each one of you has a piece of the creative source in you. And you carry it around and you label it. You say that it's carried in certain parts and pieces. It's expressed in certain ways. There's the Merkaba. There's the pineal. There's all of these different parts and pieces for you. And then as you see what is here, and you truly understand that it's huge. Energetically huge. So big is that soul of yours, it can be in multi places at once. And we talked about that just recently. We talked about the higher self, which really isn't seen to be anywhere because there is no where in metaphysical terms of multidimensionality. There cannot be a place that is finite like it is for you in a linear world. That means that pieces and parts of your soul are everywhere. Now, this is a tough thing to teach. But that is part of the magnificence of you, part of your soul. And then you learn your soul may have a name you've never even heard. A name we sing in life when you're not here. The name you have on your name tag today as you sit is the name for now. And it's going to change the next time you arrive. The next time you arrive, oh yes, you see, the soul manifests incarnations and expressions of itself that you call reincarnation. You live for a certain amount of time, and the essence of your soul and the consciousness of your soul goes back to that which is the creative source in some way, and then returns in another body. Now, you know this because this was the first intuitive thought of the first organized spiritual system on the planet, the Hindu. It still is there. It is also a derivative of the Hindu into Buddhism. It's still there. Reincarnation is a great deal older. The idea of it, the expression of it, the understanding of it, far older than you think. And it's not a New Age concept. It's the way of it. And then we start talking about the elevation of consciousness and what might take place in that paradigm of reincarnation. You start to live longer. You start to change. We have told you that the blueprint of the human body is designed to reproduce itself and rejuvenate up to 900 years. And you live a fraction of that, and the reason why is because consciousness must be high for the body to work correctly. Now you kind of know where you are on the consciousness scale. But that is changing. Longer life is going to be a staple. We gave you this information before. We're going to give it to you again. There's going to be a split. And it's going to be a split of consciousness. There will be those who do not raise with free choice any consciousness in the light that they have. And they will say the same. And they don't want anything you have. And then there will be those, such as those listening to this and those here, which start to think higher and start to evolve. But the evolution over many generations will create a whole group of human beings living twice as long as you live now, expecting to and not having any of the diseases you have today. The other group will have the same lifespans you have now and will have all the diseases you have now. And you see how they may look at you and what they may think of you Let me tell you, in their paradigm, you have a pact with the devil. This is their idea of how you can do what you're doing. And the reason? Because you cannot look up in consciousness, only down. So they will see what you have done, and they will understand it not. There will be no understanding, no matter how much you talk to them, about how an alliance between your biology and your consciousness has allowed these things. What will happen to them, dear ones, is obvious, because there won't be many left. They will die out. But the split is inevitable. And the split has happened with every advancing planet that got to the place you are today. Inevitable. But I want you to expect it, because it brings about the issues and the problems you'll expect. They're going to want to live somewhere else. You're going to want to live somewhere else, and they will, and you will. There'll come a time when there will be human beings that you cannot live with, because they are continue in a low energy, and you have decided to move on. And as much as you love them, and as much as you tell them you love them, and as much as you explain who you are and what you're doing, they will walk the other way. They cannot look up in consciousness the way you can. What happens next? You live longer and longer, and then a consciousness of God in its development. Your soul is always with you. So there's going to come a time when you start to meld literally with the physics of the planet. Just like the masters who were able to create things out of nothing, there are certain gifts. Realize that you're having more and more out-of-body experiences. They become out of the paradigm of the reality of life as you define it. Where I'm going with this is you're going to have to understand where this goes. What if this was all about your soul? What if there could be a time for millions of years of evolution of consciousness where it's a hard call to tell the difference between the life that is a soul sitting in front of you or the life which is a corporeal body sitting in front of you? If you see an angelic entity, are they alive? That's a good question. You would have to redefine life, would you not? And you would say, spiritually, they are alive. Well, they seem to have that which we understand as life, and they talk, they have consciousness. Even the definition of beauty, there have to be something for them to be beautiful. They're alive. And so that redefines life. Is God alive? That's a good question, isn't it? And now you get into that gray area of the redefinition of what life is. And eventually, you're going to come to the conclusion that life is defined by consciousness only. Anything that has a certain kind of consciousness, and you'll give a list, is alive. And that would be angels. And that would be God. And it would be the ones in the mountain. You knew I was going there, didn't you? Well, they are evolved beings. And all of them have a lineage of corporealness, coming through generations and generations of planets long before the Seven Sisters, to get them to a place where they would decide to come and help you on this planet. What is their lifespan? The answer is yes. What is the lifespan of a soul? Once? Yes. That's their lifespan. And in higher consciousness, they choose to remain. Did you hear me? They choose to remain. The Menaconis choose to remain. The ones there's Rock, the Red Center, Uluru, choose to remain. The ones here choose to remain. Because you have turned a corner, dear ones. They are the original teachers of the most beautiful core truths of God to you. They've implanted them into your Akash so that you could remember them if you wish, or not, with free choice. And they could have left. But the majority remained, and the reason that they look like they're in a city is because there's sense to it all. There is structure to it all. Not a city like you think. Not a city that's corporeal with their bodies or physical, but a city nonetheless in their way. And you can't know it because you can't look up. Only down or to yourself. But there is a city. It chose to stay because as your awakening starts to be, these time capsules of the nodes and the nulls start to open. They're called time capsules because they open when it's time. That's what's going on. Some of you have been up the mountain. And with the mountain's acknowledgement and the teachers who are here would explain to you a little more about what you are feeling and what is there. It's only a fraction, dear one, of what truly is there. Years ago, I spoke again of the protection of the city here, the one that you call Shasta. I said, isn't it interesting? Everyone wants to come here, yet there are very few facilities here. Isn't it interesting that the land is for sale, but not really? We told you that there would be generations of those who would try to build massive hotels, buy and produce. It hasn't happened, has it? This land is protected. It's protected from what you might expect in a tourist area. It's protected until something will happen that will be all right. And it might be the consciousness of those who develop it. And what they might put here that might be different from any other person building a large complex. The partner told you that still, this small area is one of the largest that you can meet in. Wouldn't you think, over the last decade or so, there would be those who see what is here? They see the tourists, they see the meetings, they see all the strange people that want to come up on the mountain and build something for you that will accommodate large groups and auditoriums, and stores and shops, and all in one place, and it didn't happen. That is counterintuitive to the economics of your land. This is a protected place. When you walk the streets, the neighbors are used to it, by the way. They know of all the people who will come here expecting things. It's interesting that many of the neighbors don't believe it. Those who will own land here don't believe it. You see, they're here as anchors of unbelief. And they're not going to sell it at all to the strange people who want to come. I hope some of you understand what I just told you. There's more going on here than you think. When you get a chance to talk to the one that is called Fraki, he will tell you the story of being able to acquire the place that he has now not too far from here, which is blessed and seen. It's no wonder that he's visited with the beings in that place. He's almost the front runner of the kind of consciousness that would see places and understand why they should be in Shasta. There are things here, but the biggest thing here is the city is real. Now I want you to relax for a moment and don't try to figure it out, because you can't. What truly is here is benevolence and teaching and beauty and love and real souls that have melded, literally, melded through the ages into those who had such high consciousness that they no longer needed corporeal bodies. And in that, there is no paradigm of travel that needs a ship. So advanced are they became the seeds that would change your biology. A being with 23 sets of chromosomes instead of 21. would give you that which is the beginning of magnificence that you will discover. Because you're headed for the same place. And you would say, well, how long will it take? And the answer is yes. Dear ones, I say that because it matters not. You'll be there. It matters not. Length of time as something that you look at and compute with and judge is a three-dimensional concept. Length of time for Pleiadian has nothing to do with the clock. If you said, how long will it take? They would say, how much love can you receive? Everything is transferred into another kind of answer from a master. You ask a master what time it is, they're not going to give you the time of day. They're going to give you a question back about your life. Well, this is a master who knows every one of you right now because you sit in the shadow of the mountain. There'll be some of you who will open up to this very strange idea that I just gave you. That there are realities beyond your reality. Don't know yet. And all of it is exceptionally real. Could it be? Truly, could it be? There are entities, if you want to call it that, in the mountain. All over the world in mountains, very similar. It had to do with your creation and have been ever since because they care about where you're going. Because they've experienced some of these things themselves and know what's next. And out of these time capsules will pour wisdom that you can use, eventually inventions that you will have, carefully constructed so that you will not weaponize them, and so use them for the betterment of humanity, to grow more food, to clean the water. All these things are there. They have it. They've had it. The extension of life, all of this, they know. But with free choice, all of you have to come on to the idea of opening a door to see it. And that door is the same kind of one that some of you have opened before when you say, is there more? Are there things I haven't been told? Dear Spirit, show me. Am I doing the right thing? Dear, show me, dear Spirit. And what Spirit will come in and say, you're always doing the right thing. And the right thing is living in integrity and love. And you can't beat that, but there's more. We spoke of the wall you come to. We meditate, and you meditate at the wall. And after you meditate, you get up and come back and do it again and again and again. And so that's the end all, and it isn't. The end all is a meld. The meditation goes to the next step. You become part of the creative source. You don't walk up after meditating, want to come back. You carry something with you. And that something that you carry with you, dear ones, is the next step. Hard to describe what that is, but it's evolution. It's longer life. It's disease that will not attract you. It's a setup for your next life when you will arrive with knowledge and understanding. You won't make the same mistakes twice because of it. That is evolution. And that's where it's going. So the days that you have here in this land called Shasta, Louise, what do you think? And she says, welcome to my mountain. And she means it. There's more here than meets the eye. And there's so much here that is for you. With your name on it. We'll leave it at that. I'll be back. And so it is.
All right, I want to thank everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and get started here in a couple minutes. So for everyone that's comfortable with this, I call now on your spiritual family to come forward and participate. I call for all gods, all demons, all elementals, ancestors, all spirits and spiritual powers. I invite to freely participate and aid in this ritual. I also ask those participating to loosen the boundaries of time and of self, and to allow and experience the vibrance and resonance of all things of the earth, of the sky, and of the heavens above. And now I'm going to call on the fire god. And this is the sigil for Zisi if you didn't get to see it already. And the word of power is Mashinana. Spirit of the fire, remember. Gibil, spirit of the fire, remember. Kira, Spirit of the flames, remember. O God of fire, mighty son of Anu, most terrifying among thy brothers, rise. O God of the furnace, God of destruction, remember. Rise up, O God of fire, Gibil in thy majesty. Rise up, O God of fire, Gira in thy power. Gibil Gashru Umuna, Ganduru Tushte Yeshir, Ilani Umayaki, Gishbar Yazia, Yazidingir Yakampa. Rise up, son of the flaming disk of Anu. Rise up, offspring of the golden weapon of Marduk. It is not I, but Enki, master of the magicians, who summons thee. It is not I, but Marduk, slayer of the serpent, who calls thee here now. Rise up, Gishbar, Bagibil, Bagira, Zi Agakampa, spirit of the god of fire, thou art conjured. Kaka Manunu. Zianakanpa, Zianakanpa, Zikia Kanpa, Zianakanpa, Zidingir Kiakanpa, Zidingir Anakanpa. Hear me, O thou Zisi, come to me by the powers of the word Mashinana. Zikia Kanpa, Zianakanpa. So you can now place your crystals on the seals if you made one, or your working table or your altar or whatever, and visualize the crystal being filled with and reproducing the energy as it connects with this moment. You can also chant the word of power, Mashinana, or direct the energy with your hands if it feels appropriate. Mashinana, Mashinana, Mashinana. Thank you, O Zisi, for your service and participation in this ritual. I now release you. Zidingir Kiakanpa, Zidingir Anakanpa, Spirit of the earth, remember. Spirit of the sky, remember. Thank you, Gibil, for your participation in this ritual. I release you now. And I thank and release all other present spirits that have come and participated in this ritual with us. Aung All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Great to talk to you all. And I will close this thing down as soon as I can. Aloha.